The official kick-off to Harlem Week began at Gracie Mansion with a big garden party.
I welcome everyone to Gracie Mansion. I welcome you to the People's House.
Carnival Traditions with Nyugen Smith and Denenge Duyst-Akpem at the Schonberg Center for Research in Black Culture. Come chat with me's own Inna the Kitchens, Chef Patrick Simpson, featured on ABC.
Going through my mind. There's so much.
A private album listening session for Third World's new album, More Work to Be Done.
Third World is my band, man. I've been watching Third World from inception.
You're watching Come Chat With Me, a Caribbean lifestyle magazine. And I'm your host, Ziggy Bless. Harlem Day began in 1974 and has grown over the years. It's now called Harlem Week, but it's a month-long celebration starting on July 28th and ending on August 31st. The kick-off celebration took place at Gracie Mansion.
I welcome everyone to Gracie Mansion. I welcome you to the People's House. This is your house. And we celebrate Harlem Week, which is one of the most amazing things that happens in New York City every year. But I have to be a speaker of truth. It is not a week anymore. Harlem Week has not been a week for a long, long time.
Nothing happened. I said look and so happy now. Oh, look and happiness. Hi, how are you? My name's Phil Young, and this is the Phil Young Experience, what you just heard anyway. It's our pleasure to be here, kicking Harlem Week off, being here at Gracie Mansion, doing this extravagant, excellent, wonderful happening that's taking place here at Gracie Mansion.
Harlem is where my great-grandmother Louisa Paris Edwards chose to live out the third act of her life. After moving from Barbados and raising her family in New Hampshire, she made the pilgrimage to 125th Street, and she never left.
Hello, I'm Queen Diambi, Mukalenga Mukashiwanka Shama of the Bakwaluntu people of Congo in Kasai. I'm here to start celebration of Harlem Week. And I just want to tell you, Harlem doesn't just belong to New York. Harlem is the city that belongs to everyone, and especially for us African, because we stand on the shoulders of our forefathers who worked so hard to bring African awareness to the level it is, where we demand equality, freedom, we demand the expression of our culture, of our heritage and our history. I love New York and I love Harlem. Harlem is just a city of its own. It's a zest and a soul that is not like anywhere else in the world.
Hi, I'm Nadine Alexander, and I'm here at the Gracie Mansion for Harlem Week. I'm enjoying myself.
I was born and raised in Harlem. My mom was from Harlem. My grandmother, when she first came from Charleston, she picked Harlem to be in, so we thought that it was the best place to give back and to make sure we're around our own people.
And I'm a true Harlemite, a true New Yorker, born and raised in Harlem Hospital, lived in Harlem for the first 20 years of my life, and I absolutely love Harlem Week because it's an opportunity to see people you haven't seen in years.
Harlem is something special. There's a spirit in Harlem that's nowhere else. There's a spirit of unity, and there's people of all kind of cultures now in Harlem, and we have brands like Harlem American that actually talks about joining, unity, bringing love, and like putting the cultures back together. A lot of things have changed in Harlem, and it's changed for the better. We have many eateries. We have Red Rooster and all the Harlem Shake. We have Mel Maxey, the designer, and we also have Dapper Dan, the Harlem tailor from Gucci. So everything is changing for the better, and what are we going to do?
Consecrating the cosmos, masquerade, performance, and spirituality in Carnival Traditions with Nyugen Smith and Denenge Duyst-Akpem.
We are beginning with the idea of the visible invisible, and how we're kind of framing this is thinking about layers of knowledge that are contained within performance and within ritual.
As we think about the visible and invisible, many times when we see things like the costumes on the road as people are marching and people are parading in their costumes and things like that, there's oftentimes we don't know what is actually going into first of all, the making of the costumes. And then not only the making of the costumes, but the rituals that some of the performers actually participate in.
An evening with Nyugen Smith and Denenge Duyst-Akpem in conversation on masquerade, performance, and spirituality in Carnival Traditions in the African diaspora through the lens of the Carnival in Trinidad and Tobago. They discuss how these traditions have informed Nyugen's work and the work of other artists in the diaspora. The program began with a collaborative performance activation by Smith and Duyst-Akpem of Rivers. Houston Con will cite specific lobby art installation honor that honors Langston Hughes and Arturo Schomburg with a cosmogram inspired by Hughes' poem, The Negro Speaks of Rivers.
Masquerade and carnivals coming out of Trinidad has a deep tradition. What can you tell us about the origin?
Well, my connection with it is looking at it especially through the lens of origins in Nigeria. I teach about ritual performance and specifically looking at Egungun, ancestral veneration, and those types of acts or actions which encapsulate and kind of hold an ashe, or catalytic life force energy. And so the activation with ourselves through our bodies as vessels and with the audience is a way of bringing and linking, just like the tributaries in the cosmogram, these links that we are kind of bringing to the fore.
Are those African traditional worship traditions that you refer to?
There is a worship element. I think that we wouldn't say it's just a religious or just cultural. It's the breadth of being, cycles of life and death, and so we're moving in the same space as of these traditions that are really giving homage to what has gone before, and linking that to so many locations on the planet, really, where these traditions are enacted and remixed, if you will.
These events have become major crowd attractions in communities that don't have an African root, but everybody finds them enjoyable. How can you explain this growth and fascination?
I think that that's part to do with the different components of Carnival, which is the music, which think about soca, calypso music, the steel pan, as well as the costumes. I think that people become really enamored with, they're really interested in the participatory part of Carnival celebration, and that has a long history as it relates to African traditions. And as we bring those things together, I think that people start to find some sort of element within Carnival that they identify with and want to participate in the celebration as well.
Did Carnival begin as we now know it in Trinidad?
I don't know where Carnival actually began. However, in each Caribbean island, it's very different. So, for instance, Carnival in Trinidad lines up with the Lenten calendar, whereas Carnival in Barbados actually lines up with when the sugarcane crops, what they call it crop over. So that's when they actually harvested the sugarcane. So that's after the February Carnival that happens in Trinidad. So it's different for different Caribbean islands.
I would imagine that the display and the costuming has changed. Is there any connection between what we see today and what emerged, say, initially, I understand, in the 18th century?
Part of that tradition and part of that change actually happened with, so right now what people, I would say, locally consider, there are different types of carnival. So we have what they call like the bling carnival, or the beads and feathers carnival, or the bikini carnival, and then they have the traditional carnival. So the traditional carnival, traditional mass, started out with like specific roles. So there was a certain type of costume that people wear, for instance the Mokojambi, which we'll speak about a little bit this evening, Dame Lorraine, Job Malassi, for example. And then you also have the other costumes that are really about aesthetics. So you have the feathers, you have less body covering, and I think a lot of people start to become very connected to or interested in that part of Carnival, as opposed to the traditional mass, which is rooted in so much more of the history.
Celebrity chef Patrick Simpson was recently featured on ABC News. We have the emotional clip.
I was making a steamed cabbage and I accidentally spilled curry inside the cabbage.
Yeah. Chef Patrick Simpson distinctively remembers his curried cabbage failure in the kitchen as a moment that would kickstart his climb to becoming a celebrity chef.
So my sister started laughing at me, and in the middle of she laughing, I start crying. And I said to her, I'm going to show you that I can cook. One day I'm going to be a chef.
And he did. Now an executive corporate chef who served presidents, rappers, actors, even our own Michael Strahan. But his journey from Jamaica wasn't an easy one.
Sleeping on the cold concrete, you're homeless.
Knowing he wanted to work in food and nutrition, Chef Patrick worked his way up from the local hotels where he hid on the property for places to sleep while homeless, to eventually becoming a sous chef and executive chef for Royal Caribbean Cruises. He later moved to Florida to work at Disney before landing in New York City. But despite how far he'd come, Patrick says there was a point when he wasn't sure he could go on.
I've contemplated suicide.
Telling us about the time at a number 2 subway station he contemplated taking his own life.
I stand there and I count 3 trains go by me with my eyes closed, trying to make up my mind. My headphone was on. I was listening to Can't Give Up Now by Mary Mary. And I don't know how I took one step back. That's the reason why I'm here now, because I didn't give up, and I keep pushing myself and tell myself, one more day, one more day.
With a renewed sense of purpose, Chef Patrick was back at it, bouncing around restaurants in New York City, now serving as corporate executive chef, and even recognized as an ambassador by the Prime Minister of his native island. Chef Patrick often returns to Jamaica, and on a recent trip, reflecting on just how far he's come.
I stayed in the executive suite at the top of the hotel on the 14th floor. I was actually looking down on all the places
That you used to sleep.
that I used to sleep.
And tell me what else was going through your mind as you look over at that spot, thinking back on the journey.
There's so much that was going through my mind. There's so much.
As we talked with the chef about his path to success, we had to talk about one of the most important parts helping pave the way, his food. What is it about food that brings people together?
We want to create something that's enjoyable and something that's memorable. And it's a part of us. It's a part of me. It's a part of my heart that I just shared to you at the table.
And lucky for us, the chef had an apron for me and shared some of his secrets in the kitchen.
We're going to do a bourbon jerk lobster. That's what we're gonna do.
So we start with lobster and season it up, adding some garlic powder, salt and pepper, red chili flakes. I added extra. And then some scallion, green bell pepper, fresh garlic, and mango, and marinate it with oil.
And now you're gonna put that in there.
We added bourbon and jerk sauce, more bourbon, and then more seasoning.
Bam! This
Bam!
is good.
As the chef shares his passion through food here in the U.S., he's also giving back to Jamaica.
I decided, okay, I'm gonna open a culinary school. It's gonna be about 150 kids. They don't have to pay anything. It's basically comes out of my pocket. And just give them, and after they graduate, they also get job placement.
Chef Patrick is aiming to serve youth in Jamaica the kind of support he didn't have growing up. And his message for those kids is simple, one he embodies himself.
You have to always be your number one cheerleader. No matter, yes, you need the support and you need people to cheer for you, but you got to cheer for yourself louder than anyone else. And you have to believe in yourself. No matter who doubt you, don't give up.
Yeah, man, you don't know. Come chat with me. We're there, Ziggy Bless. We're in the building tonight. Yeah, Milk River is the place. And you see tonight, the thing is up right now. You don't know, say, it's Third World Private Listening Party for them album. You see? More works to be done. That's the title of it. So keep it locked right as so. Come chat with me. We're there, see? Boom! Third World, one of the longest living reggae bands of all time, and one of Jamaica's most consistently popular crossover acts among international audiences, released their 22nd studio album titled More Work to Be Done on August 16th. The private album listening session for the reggae ambassadors was held at Milk River in Brooklyn.
Roots it up with quality, yeah. Stepping it with quality.
One of my favorite third world tunes is Roots with Quality. Big tune. But more than that, just the historical aspect. They've been in the music for 45 years. Quite an accomplishment in reggae music. And you just gotta support any act that is still doing music up to this day. We all gotta connect with that act and build a bridge.
Me used to go sing fence, go to listen to Third World. To me love how them I hold it from so long till now. And Third World to me are one of the greatest, like them say reggae ambassador from Jamaica. The man them sing just nice, clean, smooth, feel good music and it decent. Somewhere you can listen to with the children. Your great grand them.
Nikki, how are you today?
I'm great. I'm just enjoying the vibe. I love it.
I'm loving it too. When you think about Third World, right? How would you describe Third World in your eyes?
I would describe them as one of the legendary bands that we need to cherish, we need to respect, and we need to understand that they've been here for so long and still stayed relevant. I mean, people don't really understand how great each individual member of the band is. I know for a fact because they helped transform me. People might not know that, but I started DJing at a certain event that they used to always perform at. And just by being in that environment and watching how they affect so many different demographics, so many different types of people, it made me want to rethink how I was doing what I was doing.
Keisha Martin here, Queen of Jam Rock Soul and vocalist for International Women in Reggae in the building. And Alex, management, is in the building. Right, we're here representing, here to support Third World.
I don't dirty love.
I'm still in love with you, boy.
Well, I'm a hustler and a player, and you know I'm not to stay. That's a dirty love.
I'm still in love with you, boy.
So girl, I try to understand that a man is just a man. That's a dirty love.
I'm still in love.
Great to be here.
Yeah.
You know, when you get the call to play music for the legendary Third World Reggae Ambassadors,
Yeah.
it's truly humble. As a little youth, of them we grew up on, and never, like, every time I interview an artist of that caliber,
Yeah.
I'm like a kid in a candy store, because never in my life did I think I would be in the same room as them, much less to be able to reach out, touch, and talk to them. So it's amazing, and they're humble people. They're human beings.
Yeah,
And I know we put artists on a pedestal and have them up here, but when you meet artists that are superstars and act like normal, regular, down-to-earth reggae ambassadors, you gotta give them props.
Third World is my band, man. I've been watching Third World from inception. The second thing is that the bass player, Richard Daly, is married to my niece. So it's a family connection there. So anywhere they play in the New York area, Connecticut area, when it comes to town, I am there.
These guys, I swear, I remember them from when I was a little girl, and just thinking about that they've been together since 1973 and still strong and still beautiful and still humble, and they're very inspiring.
The reason why I'm so attached to Third World is because they speak to my soul. For me, it's not music, it's more like a testimony and encouragement, you know, especially being in the industry for so long. So I'm excited because they're saying that it's more work to be done, and I believe that they are the ones to do it.
Let him be praised continually. Keep you unlocked in my sky. Glory to Jah, let him be praised. He will take us by the hand and lead us to the wonderland. If we can be good, we'll be careful and do the best that we can. He will take us by the hand and lead us to the wonderland.
When we look at the years traveled and we look at the work that we have done so far, we still believe that our commitment is to music, so there's more work to be done.
Come chat to me, we're in the building tonight, and I'm here with a living legend, Mr. Cat Crow from Third World. One question for you, sir. What is the difference from, I would say, your first album and all the albums you have done compared to this one that is getting ready to come out right now?
The difference is the Damian Marley and Steve Marley factor. And that's gonna show, and it's gonna show love, and it's gonna show that when they were young we were their uncles, and we grow them really.
Alright.
And that them are grow we now.
Stay connected with Come Chat With Me. Thanks for watching Come Chat With Me. See you next week.
Now that we found love, what are we gonna do with it? Now that we found love, what are we gonna do with it? Make that it shook, 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 all over the place. I say, come on, baby, when the music's playing, I wanna see you dance, dance.